For 16.1 task 2, we're going to be using this histogram to answer some questions. So the histogram shows the fuel efficiency in miles per gallon for cars sold at Max's dealership. So they have one car that can go only 5 to 9 miles per gallon. They have two cars that can go this far. So we can see most of the cars go about 20 to 24 miles per gallon. And they have one car that gets really good gas mileage, 35 to 39. So it wants to know if there is a peak. So remember, the peak is the top like mountain point. So the peak here, we can see that top point is all the way here. So it's wanting to know, so here's the peak. It wants to know what group that is. So the peak is from 20 to 24. Now we're going to look at just the overall pattern here. So describe the pattern and how the data changes across the intervals. So, right, so we can see as it's going this way, it goes up. So from 5 all the way to 24, right, it's kind of going up. And then we can see once it reaches 20 to 24, then there starts to be fewer and fewer cars again. So we see an increase up to 24. And then once we get to about 24 miles, we start to see a decrease, and there's not as many cars that have higher gas mileages. So we're just telling the overall pattern that we notice. Goes up, then it decreases and goes back down. Okay, if we draw a vertical line straight through the middle of 20 to 24, so if we draw that line straight there, the two sides of the histogram are close. So if we fold those in half, they're close to being a mirror of each other's, right? We can see, but these are not too far away. Those are not too far away, and those are the same. So it's nearly, we call that symmetrical. So it's very close to being symmetrical. Is the pattern in part B an indicator of symmetry? So we noticed, right, it went up and then it just went down. So, right, we can kind of see as it's, right, it was folded, and we can see as it's going, it's just kind of going down along each side. So does the data deviate from the overall pattern? So I would say, so let's come back here. So it's nearly symmetric. Is the pattern we notice that it goes up and then down part of the symmetry? I'm going to say yes. The increase on the, what side is that? The left nearly matches the decrease on the right. So we can see the increase here and the decrease here almost mirror each other when we fold those up. And is there any data that deviates? That means goes away. So like, do we have one that's not fitting into the pattern? No, not really. It seems to go up and then down. So all of the data seems to follow the overall pattern. So there's not one that's kind of like, oh, that one's really high when everything else around it is low or anything like that. So it all seems to follow that overall pattern there.